I can pinpoint accurately the dates where I became aware of the world. This was during an air raid in Manchester and Salford during the Second World War. The date of the air raids was between the 1st and 2nd of June 1941. I would be 1 year, 9 months old at the time. There were no air raid shelters in gardens where I lived, because basically there were very, very few gardens. The solution was to put a steel roof in the cellar. Most of the houses had cellars, so the steel roof was erected just under the ceiling and supported by very heavy-duty iron girders. An escape route was provided by a number of steps out onto the pavement. The actual hole was protected by a cast iron grille. This, of course, to stop pedestrians who were going by on their normal walks, passing by, falling down the hole. I had been placed in a blanket on my grandfather's workbench. He did quite a lot of carpentry and that kind of thing, so that's where I was put to sleep, or I was laid down so I could sleep. I became aware of noise, the sound of what was obviously explosions, a kind of dull thud, 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 thud. In addition to that, what was obviously, though obviously I didn't realise what it was the sound of anti-aircraft guns. Tack, 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 tack. And a part of this noise background, the sound of heterodyning aero engines from the bombers who were flying overhead and dropping bombs. There was a fireplace, and on the fire, which was lit, was a very large and very substantial cast iron kettle, very, very black kettle. Sitting around on chairs, numbers of people, my grandparents, a family, in fact, who run a chip shop, who were actually friends of my grandfather's, and various neighbours. In the light of the fire, I think in fact was probably just one small light bulb was lit, but mainly in the light of the fire, it was redolent of, though this was a cultural reference, which in fact would obviously be years and years ahead, of Van Gogh's Potato Eaters. The light shining on the faces of the people, obviously in the painting around the table, but in this case around the fire, looking rather tense and serious and stressed, in fact. Children, when they are born into the world and first become aware of the world, whether it be a castle or some awful war zone or wherever, when they first become aware of the world, this is normality. You know nothing else, so you just accept it, and there it is. And with me, I mean, this was, it didn't seem unusual or anything else, because it was just, I had no experience, obviously. I just suddenly realised that I existed and the world existed. It's curious how the unconscious does retain certain signals. And after the war, I remember quite clearly that walking around, if an aircraft flew overhead and the engines heterodyned, I would immediately feel an instant tension and go on alert. So it really does demonstrate just how things that are buried away do have an influence on your reactions and behaviour as you get older.
If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please subscribe.